Hello and welcome, I'm BluenoseLJ. In this video, I'm going to take a look at and analyse our current squad that is available to Carlo Ancelotti right now and see which players we should be looking to get rid of and which ones we should be looking to keep. Now, after doing this, what has become blatantly obvious is the amount of money that this club has wasted on players over the last couple of years. We've spent nearly £500 million, and going through this squad, it's unbelievable to think that that's the money that we've spent and we've ended up with this squad. The amount of average players that we've spent over the top money on is unbelievable, and it is it's made me quite angry with the squad that we've got right now with the money that we've spent. But anyway, hopefully Ancelotti and Marcel Brands, that comes to an end now, and we stop wasting money on players and stop overpaying for players that just we should never have paid that kind of money for. So, in goal, Pickford. For me, I'm going to say that we keep Jordan Pickford. And the reason why I'm going to say that is for two reasons. One is because I don't think that anybody is actually going to come in and buy him in this window. After the season that he's just had, I can't see anybody coming in, even Chelsea. I know that they were linked with him, but I can't see it. They're going to go out and buy somebody better than Pickford, or who at least had a much better season than him anyway. Second, I still think that Jordan Pickford is a good goalkeeper. Now, I know that the amount of mistakes that he's making have cost us so many points, but there's no denying Jordan Pickford is a good goalkeeper. There's something beyond that, and I don't know whether it's mentally. He's come back from that World Cup with a big head, and he thinks he's a little bit more special than what he is. I don't really understand it. He's a good goalkeeper. He makes some really, really good saves, but he makes some really, really stupid errors that have cost us a lot of points and a lot of games. So something he needs to sort that out, and I'm hoping that Ancelotti might be able to do that over the summer. But I still say that at least next season we keep Pickford and we look at maybe next summer at replacing him if next season remains the same. Virginia, don't really know too much about him. Apparently he's not good enough to be, he's not going to go first team. So, but as a third goalkeeper, maybe. So, yeah, keep him. Lossell, unless we get in a replacement for Pickford, and Pickford stays, which I wouldn't have thought so if we do get a replacement for Pickford, and I can't imagine us buying a goalkeeper to end up putting Pickford as number two. Then we have to keep Lossell, or we have to purchase an understudy for Pickford. But for me, Lossell, actually, he's not the worst goalkeeper in the world, so I would keep Lossell. But that's our goalkeepers anyway. Defenders, Coleman, definite keep for me. He's got at least one, maybe two more seasons left in him. I think he's not going to play every game. Let's get that right. He's not going to play every single Premier League and FA Cup and League Cup game next season. So we need that understudy for him, or even Coleman be the understudy next season. I don't know, but Coleman stays. Jonjoe Kenny, it looks like that he's going to be going. Now, we definitely need, obviously, a second right back because, as I say, Coleman's not going to play every game. If we are going to get rid of Jonjoe Kenny, it means I think that we're going to be looking at bringing somebody in, and obviously means that Carlo Ancelotti doesn't rate Kenny enough to keep him as either understudy or challenge Coleman for the right back spot next season. So yeah, I quite like John Joe Kenny. Whether he is the future replacement of Coleman, I don't know. But yeah, so I wouldn't be against Kenny going as long as we signed a good replacement next season. Left back, Lucas Digne, yeah, of course. Been probably one of our best players over the last 2 seasons. So easily one of the better players last season, which wasn't really too difficult with what we had. So Lucas Digne definitely stays. We don't have anybody else at left back really, apart from this really young lad that came from Marseille. So I don't think that he's going to be understudy to Digne next season. So we probably going to need to get somebody in to cover that. Mason Holgate. This is a no-brainer. We should be building our defense around Mason Holgate, and I'm pretty sure that Mason Holgate will be a future captain at Everton as long as we can keep him, really. And the only way we're going to keep players like Mason Holgate is if we are improving, and he can see that. So Holgate is a no-brainer, and we build our defense around him. Michael Keane stays unless we bring somebody of really good quality, somebody like Gabriel. And if we can get somebody like that, then I think that probably means the end of Keane. Keane had a really good end of season. I thought he was one of our standout players during the lockdown and the return of the football. Cost a lot of money, but still, I think he's a good defender. I wouldn't be opposed if Michael Keane stayed next season. I'm still hopeful that we get a really good quality centre defender in to play alongside Holgate, but that remains to be seen. Unless that happens, Michael Keane stays. The same with Mina. Personally, I think Keane is a better defender than Mina. I don't really rate him. I know some Everton fans like him, but I don't really rate him, and he gets injured far too often. So, yeah, I would get rid of, but only if we could get somebody of really good quality in. Otherwise, he's gonna stay. Jared Branthwaite, definitely one for the future. He might play a few times next season. I'm not really too sure. He probably end up on the bench a few times. May get brought on. Definitely one for the future, and he could definitely, I can see in the next 2, 3, 4 years, him and Holgate being, I think that would be a really, really good partnership. They're both young, both good players. One right foot, one left foot in the center of defense. I think that would be a really good partnership. Something that I would like to see eventually. And then we've also got Matthew Pennington, who I just don't think is good enough. And if we could get rid of him he probably will go on loan, but if somebody comes in, championship side comes in and wants to take him, then I would let him go. That's our defense. Amazingly, it's pretty for the money that we've spent, is not too good. Our midfield, Fabian Delph. Do I need to say anything? Really? Yeah, bye. So yeah, I would sell Fabian Delph to Leeds, and I've said it in my other videos. I'll come back from the Czech Republic and I'll drive into Leeds personally, because I want to make sure that deal goes through. Uh, Sigurdsson. Am I one of the only Evertonians out there that still likes Sigurdsson? He had a shocking season last season. There's no question about it. But he would the season before. What I think 14. I think he scored 14 goals. I don't know what happened last season. Maybe he was just played out of position, lost all confidence. I don't know, but he was one of our better players the year before. So I would keep Sigurdsson because I think that he is a useful player. Probably I would want to sign some centre midfielders where Sigurdsson wasn't playing every week and he wasn't, he was coming off the bench. But I would keep Sigurdsson. But I'm probably one of the only Evertonians that is going to say that. But Andre Gomez, definite keep. I think we saw it in one game last year at the return of football against Sheffield United, where he actually looked like the Andre Gomez, or at least kind of the Andre Gomez of the first season when he was here. The problem with Andre Gomez is, one, obviously he had that nasty injury, but he wasn't playing well before that. He is not a defensive midfielder, and he was being asked to do that kind of job. He was playing alongside Tom Davies, and that restricted him as the type of player that Andre Gomez is. He's the type of player that is going to get the ball and he's going to pass it about, and he's creative. He's not that defensive midfielder, and he was being required to do that and run about far too much, far more than what he should do. He missed. You could see that he missed Gana Gay. We missed Gana Gay. There's no question about that. But I think with that type of player, it frees Gomez up to be the player that Gomez is, which is that creative player. And he wasn't able to do that last season. And that was a problem. And I think probably confidence then got into it. And obviously the injury, which slowed him down a little bit. So, but the game against Sheffield United showed that he still has that potential, and I would definitely keep Gomez. Gmabin, I don't really know what to say about him. We spent nearly the same amount of money on him as what we got for Gana Gay. He's the replacement for Ghana, and he didn't get to play at all. He's had those 2 injuries. So nobody actually knows whether he is a replacement or not, how good he is, whether we need Ghana. We've been linked with Ghana in the last day or so. Whether we need a player like him back, or whether Gmabin is that player. I'm sure Ancelotti kind of has an idea, but keep is a definite keep. But because I want to see him as a player. I want to see what he's got available to him. So I'm going to keep it. I would say keep him, and let's see how it goes. But we may need somebody else in the centre midfield. Tom Davies. Look, the academy players, the players that come through, and he clearly loves this club, and I'm not one of those people that get angry at Tom Davies, because I think he plays at the best of his ability. He's just not good enough. That's the problem. He had that one really good game against Manchester City a few years ago, and he's been kind of living off of that for the past couple of years. Now, I just don't think he's good enough. It's not nothing against him, because I think he works and he tries. He's just not good enough to do it. So for me, he's got to go. Maybe go out on loan and play a few games in the lower part of the division, and play regularly there and come back a better player. I don't know, or maybe even in the championship. But at the moment, and I say at the moment, but he's not 19 years old anymore. He hasn't progressed. He hasn't become that player that I hoped that he would be. So yeah, Tom Davies, I think, needs to either be shipped out on loan or maybe go off to one of the lower Premier League clubs next season. Actually, we're one of the lower Premier League clubs. Anyway, Mohamed Besic, I would really have liked to see Mohamed Besic play instead of Tom Davies last season, just a couple of games. Excuse me. When Besic came, I thought he looked a really good player. One of those kind of box-to-box players he ran about. He just kept getting injured. He's going to be one of those players that just keeps happening to him. I think he's like 27 now, but yeah, for me, it's probably too late now. He's gone out on loan a few times, and we're looking to bring in a centre midfielder. I think if Ancelotti would have played him a couple of times at the end of the season instead of Davies, then we would have got an idea whether it was a possibility that next season or something. But yeah, I think he's probably going to end up going. So yeah. I quite like Besic, but maybe he's just not good enough. So, yeah, probably he's going to go. Benny Beningame. Now, when he came in, when Allardyce was here, I thought he looked okay. And he just hasn't had another look in. So he's been on the bench a few times, but he hasn't had a look in. And that's a couple of managers now that with Benny Beningame, I don't think that he's going to cut it. Another, one of these players that have come through the youth and stuff. So I don't know. I don't think I saw enough of him. But if he's not going to play, he's not going to get into the first team squad. Maybe it's time to just get rid of. But that is our midfield. After the money that we've spent, that's our midfield. Now, I know that we can class wingers, but actually I'm going off the Everton website with our squad, and that's the midfield that they've got. They've put the wingers as forwards. So yeah, some of these might be classed as more midfield. Not strikers, but forwards. Anyway, so we start off with Richarlison. There are two thoughts about Richarlison. One is obviously he's our best player. There's no question, and I don't want him to go. And I'm not even thinking about getting rid of. But if we were to get 150 million bid in, I don't know how whether that would happen, but if we were, what could we do with that money? That would be times 3 in the fair play, which means that we could spend a lot more. Do we sell one of our best players in order to bring in a load of players? The problem with that is that we've just wasted so much money. It wouldn't be any good if we sold him and brought in a load of players who weren't of top quality. I don't think that that's the way that we should do it. I think that people like Holgate and Richarlison and even Digne, who probably are our only 3 really top quality players, I think we need to build the team around them. So I wouldn't do it that way, but there is there is that thought that we sell somebody like Richarlison and that funds a rebuild. But that's not been the problem, the money, is it? It hasn't been the money. It's been the wasting of the money that's been the problem. So for me, Richarlison stays, and we build our whole team around these young players that are coming through, and Richarlison, Holgate, even Digne, and these players. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'm definitely going to keep him. I think he was one of our most improved players last season. He didn't score at the end, the last few games in the during the lockdown, but we didn't exactly give much away in terms of chances for Dominic Calvert-Lewin or anybody during those last few games. We were really, really bad. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I would keep. Walcott, I in comparison to what we've got on the wings and stuff, then he has to stay unless we get somebody in. But yeah, I would be looking to get rid of Walcott now. He's given us a few years, but I would look to get rid of Tosun. One of those players that I really wanted to make it, but I don't think that he's quite got it in our league anyway. He scored lots of goals in Turkey, but I don't think that he's ever going to cut the mustard in the Premier League for Everton, and he's not going to progress us onto top 6, top 4 in the next couple of years. So I would say get rid of Tosun. I don't know how much we'd get rid of. We paid a lot of money for him. I don't know how much we would, but still, I would sell. Iwobi. Why did we pay 30 million? Now, it's not so much about Iwobi, because there's clearly some skill there, some ability. He has ability. It's the price tag that we paid for him. £30 million, and that could rise to 35 for a player that, if you would have said 12 to 15, I would have gone, that may be a little bit too much. 10, yeah, I would take the punt on 10 million. 30 million pounds. Yeah, and he definitely didn't show us 30 million pounds worth last season, and I don't know if he ever will. But I think it would be too much to get rid of Iwobi right now. We need some squad. We need squad as well. We can't get rid of everybody because we're only going to bring in 3 or 4 players, maximum 3 players, I think. But so we can't get rid of all of them in one go. But I would definitely say that Iwobi was one of those players that we get rid of in the next, maybe not next year, but the year after, sometime. Unless, obviously, next season he shows us and woos us with his amazing skills. Bernard, look, when Bernard is on fire, he is such a quality player. He had a terrible end of season, and I don't think he really had a very good season anyway. But there are flashes of brilliance there. But I don't think he is going to be, for the next couple of years, our standout player or anything. I wouldn't get rid of him. I think he's a good player that you can use in the cups or to bring on a sub, or every now and again he might get to start. But I would keep him, but I would definitely be looking at some replacement in the next year or so. Sandro Ramirez is still at this club. Bye. Enough said on Sandro Ramirez. Let's hope he doesn't come back and he does go. Moise Kean, I've seen glimpses of Moise Kean. I don't know, there's something about Kean that I really like. I think that the physicalness and the game, the pace of the game was too much for him last season. It was such a shock to him, and he didn't ever get into any flow. But there's definitely potential with Moise Kean, so I would really like to see him stay. Unless we get in some world-class striker, that's not going to happen. I'd like to see Moise Kean and see what Carlo Ancelotti could get out of him next season. I really do hope that Moise Kean could become a Lukaku for us. I don't know, but let's hope. Yannick Bolasie is another one that is still at the club, which amazingly, he said in an interview that he wants to stay. He wants to fight for his place. Again, he's another player that I think is a good player. Hasn't shown it for us. Did glimpses of it the first season that he was here when Lukaku but again, I don't think so. I don't think he's good enough. But if we could sign another winger, then I would get rid of. Otherwise, he's probably going to be here next season. And then Anthony Gordon, which again is a no-brainer. We have to keep Gordon, and I think that these young players are going to, in the next 2-3 years, as long as we can build a good squad. Holgate, we've got Digne, we've got Richarlison, we've got Gordon and Branthwaite. We've got some good players there, and if we can build around that and we can provide some top quality players to go along with them over the next couple of windows, 2-3 windows, where we buy 2 or 3 really, really good players, not going out and buying 10 average players, which is what we've done. We need 2 or 3 quality players each window, and slowly build up. Look at what Jurgen Klopp did. It took him, I know, 3 years to get the Champions League, 4 years to get the league. We're probably further away than that, but at least if we can be fighting for that Champions League in the next 3 years, it's a long way. But Ancelotti, if anybody can do it, Ancelotti can, and if he can't do it, then we're in trouble. That's all I would say, is if Ancelotti cannot get us fighting for the top 4 spot in the next couple of years, this club is in trouble. Anyway, that's our squad. Amazing, isn't it? For we've spent £500 million, and that is what we've got available. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up. It does help with the YouTube algorithm and stuff. And please subscribe if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing you on my next video, which will probably be tomorrow.